Well, hello everybody. It is 5 o'clock on Friday, January the 24th, 2025, and I'm on the chairlift that goes across Cataract Gorge in Launceston, and I'm just going to film as I go across. Over to the left-hand side now you can see the local swimming pool. That's a free pool that's open all day. I'm not sure if it's patrolled or not. I don't see any evidence at the moment of there being any lifeguards or anything like that, so it's kind of swim at your own risk. Just below that there you can see some picnic grounds, picnic tables and so on, and below here some play equipment, and I'm just going across the roof of a cafe that's open for I think breakfast and lunch. And there's a toilet block a little bit further up the hill that you might be able to see, and a walk that goes right around to the suspension bridge that you can see. That's the Lady Alexandra suspension bridge. I think it's Princess Alexandra suspension bridge that you can walk across, of course. And then there are more picnic grounds and grass areas here, and these structures here are also picnic shelters. There's a pathway you can see there that takes you on a walking track on the, I guess it's the eastern side of the gorge, so you can walk either side of the gorge. This side is quite steep and rugged, whereas the other is a little bit more gentle walk. The water you can see, not the swimming pool but the other water, that is called the first basin, and it's called that because further upstream, the other side of the suspension bridge, is another basin. So this is a very popular swimming hole with people who don't want to swim in the pool, who don't like chlorine, and don't want to swim in the pool. Teenagers mainly, I guess. I have swum in it. The water is quite cold. Even at the height of summer it would be quite cold. You might be able to see just underneath the suspension bridge there's a little weir where the water flows over the rocks and into the first basin. That suspension bridge was washed away in the floods of, I think, around 1928, 1929, and then rebuilt. And in the most recent heavy flood that I'm aware of in 2016, the water came right up and flooded the swimming pool behind you there. So the water in the basin was right over the swimming pool and up onto the picnic areas. And the thing is, the council had just done all the preparatory work to get the pool ready for the summer season when it was flooded, and then they cleaned it all out, and they had another heavy storm and parts of the pool were flooded a second time. It's a very slow moving chairlift with the idea that you can enjoy the scenery and enjoy the gorge. It's apparently one of the longest single span chairlifts in the world between the two pylons that support the whole thing. It's something like 305 metres. It opened in the 1970s, I believe. You follow down through the gorge to the right there. The river flows through under a causeway sort of directly ahead there, and then down towards the town, goes under the King's Bridge. This is actually the South Esk River that's underneath us here, that comes from the suspension bridge up there, and then flows into the first basin. And as you can see it flowing where those rapids are underneath the pathway there, and then it flows down, as I say, towards the King's Bridge near the Pennyroyal, and when it reaches there it becomes the Tamar. So the South Esk River joins the North Esk River and they make the Tamar River. Now the Esk rivers are named after rivers with similar names in Scotland, I believe, and the Tamar is named after the Tamar River in, I think it's in Cornwall in southern England, where there is also a Launceston, as they call it in southern England, whereas here in Tasmania it's called Launceston. You must pronounce it Launceston or Lonnie, not Lawny and not Launceston. further up the river beyond the suspension bridge and beyond the river travels up to Ducks Reach Power Station. So that Ducks Reach is the location where the first hydroelectric power station in Australia operated from. It was decommissioned some time ago, but it's still open for sort of tourism and to sort of walk there and have a look around and learn a little bit about hydroelectricity. And beyond there is the Trevellyn Dam, which is caused by damming the South Esk River and creating Lake Trevellyn. You can see the river through there, and maybe you can see some people sunning themselves on the rocks down there. One of the other things that Cataract Gorge is very famous, or is famous for, not very famous, just famous for, is the peacocks. There are lots of peacocks here, and the peacocks are quite aggressive when it comes to scavenging and scrounging for food, and they are well known for taking food out of people's hands, and as I say, can be quite aggressive in defending the food once they've got it. And just over there, it's a lookout that is at the bottom of there's a cafe on this side of the gorge as well, so if you want you can get yourself some tea and coffee and afternoon tea, but there's also a restaurant here which I think is open at night for dinner. You might just be able to see it coming up. There, the orange coloured roofs there, part of that is the restaurant. The cafe on the other side is, I think, is only open for breakfast and lunch. Quite an impressive building. There'll be some history to when it was built. There are lots of walking trails throughout the gorge here, and you can see some of them just below here. But there are ones that take you up into the scrub and into the bush around the gorge as well, rather than just down to the water, that is. This chairlift is open from 9 o'clock till 6 o'clock in summertime. Slightly different hours, of course, in winter. And it costs, if you're interested, $15 one way, or $25 I think for the round trip. So you can do as we're doing. We got on the eastern side and rode back across to the west, or you can get on the western side and then pay when you get off. You see more walking trails down there. Very famous, well, famous, not very famous, just famous rotunda in there, which in earlier times would have been a place where a band would have played during the evenings or on the weekends. We're coming up to the disembarkation station, I guess that's the right word for it. I'm not sure what the proper term that you use in regard to a chairlift is, but it's where you get off. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this view of the chairlift and the ride across the gorge. Have any comments, you know when to leave them.